Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman, founder of Contractor Staffing Source, with contractors build great teams. My guest today is Kenny Stalker from V Digital Services. Okay, so we've all about digital service. What differentiates you from all those other digital services? And God, there's a ton of them, right? So
Yes,
what makes you different or better? I'm just curious.
it is the big question when it comes to agencies, isn't it? Um,
Right?
what makes us different? I guess number one, everything that we do is in house. We don't use anybody overseas. We own everything in house, specifically at one of our four offices in either Denver, Phoenix, Dallas, and Miami. Why is that big?
Okay.
It's very consistently in the US. You can talk to people in the US at traditional time frames. There's no language barriers, things along those lines.
Okay.
That's probably not number one, but that's one of the things that we seem to hear from people consistently right now. Two,
Okay.
we've been embracing AI for about 18 months at this point, since Google really has gotten into showing its snippets at the top of search
Mhm.
results. That obviously syncs in with everything that's happening with AI as a
Right.
whole. When we're talking Chat GPT, we're talking Perplexity, so on and
Right.
so forth. And we've been doing a lot of research related to AI and how it's changed search. And I guess what I mean by that is I think a lot of people really believe that AI is accessing something very differently than, say, Google or Bing or Yahoo has been accessing, over the last 25 years. And they're really not. They're just accessing more of it, and they're bringing in more pieces, and they've changed the way that they are um, showing the information that you've been searching for. So if you have a website and that website was put together to try to reach people who were searching for any type of home service or construction service or remodeling service or things along those lines, that's still where the chat GPTs and perplexities of the worlds are pulling that information from. So we have done a ton of research on this, and based on that, one of the things I think that really sets us apart is the ability to lean into the AI side of things. So not only are you still getting Google and still getting Bing, and you should, because Google is still far and away the biggest search engine by, without question, even though all the AIs and large language models are very exciting at this point, and they'll continue to be exciting. They'll continue to grow. They're still accessing the same info, and the better info that you have on your website, the better off you can be. So we really are leaning into, instead of SEO being search engine optimization, we're now calling it search everywhere optimization, because the same thing that you were doing before with some added pieces to make your website visible is still one of the best things that you can possibly do.
Now, I hear this is just, rumor or something, that keywords aren't as important as they used to be because it's all about getting all the keywords, paying for the keywords, and being the keyword guy. Is that as important as it used to be?
It's still a very significant portion of it. So if you're thinking about what Google is looking for kind of at this moment, versus what AI is thinking about at this moment. And do keep in mind that Google is in the AI game as much as anybody else is. Not only do they have Gemini, which is built into monstrous number of computers, it's built into all Google-based phones, but that's where people are used to searching. Content and targeting with content is still one of the best things that you can do. In fact, there are three pieces that you're looking at from an AI perspective. Content still remains number one. Is your content useful? Is it unique? Does it show real purpose? Does it show that you're an expert in what you do? Um, Keywords need to be there, but it's you're wanting to look at it more as target themes and target clusters now, if that makes sense. So it's not just that you're going to take it. You're it's the old days of you're just going to push as many keywords and as many keyword phrases on there as possible. You really need to look at themes and topic clusters. So it shows that you're really good at what you do. You can't just have a couple of pages, two or three pages where you've just stuffed keywords in there anymore. Um, so yes, keywords are still big to a point, but they have to be built in a content perspective that makes more sense to help you build authority and to kind of have what's called semantic relevance. So it still needs to be there because that's how people are searching, but people are searching in longer strings at this point. They aren't just saying contractor near me. Well, many people still are, but they're still trying to determine what else is going to they being the AIs are still trying to determine exactly what you're trying to do because you want more information. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about content and keywords kind of as you're rolling along here is what they're looking for really, really specifically. And what they're looking for is expertise and detail. Like I'll give you, for instance, if you don't mind,
Sure.
I was at a conference recently and there was a remodeling construction company there. And as we got chatting about things, we were chatting about content real specifically. He's like, well, give me a for instance. I mean, what do you think we need to have on the site? And I said, well, what are you hearing from people? What are those questions that you're hearing? If you guys sat down as a team in your office and you said, what are those 20 questions that we're hearing consistently? And one of the things he brought up very specifically was they work on things that have people out of their houses for, 3 to 6 months. And he said,
Right.
people get really freaked out by that. How long do I need to be out of the house? What am I going to
Right.
do? So one of the things and that's a huge issue for folks. So one of the things they really wanted to do was think about writing an article. If you're going to do this, if you're going to add a second story to your home, how long will you be out? What should you be prepared for? What will we
Right.
do? And just because that it's such a relevant search for what people are looking for, and they're looking for detail. They're not just looking to go to a
Right.
page. They're looking for really good detail that's going to pop up and give you that really long AI search result.
Now, question. I've heard that because AI is smarter, getting smarter all the time, that videos are more useful than just words because AI can tell it's a video, can tell it's a real person somehow, and somehow it validates that more than just a bunch of words on your site. Is that true or not?
It depends on, see, none of the AIs or the Googles can actually digest what's in a video just in immediate search. I mean, it can't digest all
Right.
of that. You're going to have information on the back of the video that describes what the video is, that describes the content of the video, but it still needs to be what is on that page that's related to it. Your hope
Hmm.
is that what you're going to have on the page from a textual perspective is going to grab the AIs, it's going to grab the Googles of the world, and it's going to bring people to that page in hopes that they're
Hmm.
then going to watch the video because people do digest video much better than anything
Hmm.
else. It works extremely well on social as well. Obviously, I think most people know that. I mean, that's just a better
Hmm.
approach. But if you have video on your website, it's great for the consumer. Google and the AIs can't necessarily digest everything that's in it, just in a 30-second search result.
Got it. So it's still about content. I have a question. This is sort of, in a way, it's sort of AI related. And that is,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at statistics, and who knows if it's true or not. But I guess 5 years ago, private equity was putting 1 billion into buying, companies, and now it's putting in 10 billion, some crazy number, right? So
Mm-hmm.
as private equity comes into the service industry, they've got a lot more cash, a lot more money, right, to throw at it. How does the
Yep.
local guy stay competitive with people as Google ads get more expensive? They're just raising the price of everything, right? Is that accurate? Because they're just throwing money at it.
Well, it's going to get to the point. The way I like to look at this is, Paul, you're at least the age I am, that we're where we were 25 years ago, where if you remember, you had Google and you had Yahoo, you had Ask Jeeves, you had all of these other search
Right,
engines that were all fighting to determine who was going to be at the top. Um,
right.
that's where we are right now. I mean, I have 7 AIs on my computer and my mobile phone right now, just so I can see what the difference is. And if you
Mhm,
use all of them, and I encourage anybody who's watching this, come up with the segment that you want to put into AI and put it into a whole bunch of them and see what you get back. But
mhm,
back to what you were asking. Is it going to get more expensive? Well, at some point or another, these people are going to want their money back. There's no doubt about that. And who is going to win this arms race related to AI? Your guess is as good as mine. ChatGPT has a bit of an advantage right now. Gemini is rolling though. Facebook is doing their thing, but at some point it's going to have to be monetized in some way, shape, or
mhm,
form. So we will end up coming circling back around to a point. It's still going to be a better user experience as a whole because you're still
mhm.
going to get significantly more information that you were getting before, which is going to allow you to make more decisions based on the research that you're doing without having to call as much. And I think that's the thing
Right.
that a lot of businesses are
You're
worried
gonna, you're gonna
about.
make it more. I mean, you're gonna say, I want a plumber in Kansas City who's within 5 miles of my house and knows how to fix my bathroom, which has Moen fixtures in it or something, right? And it's gonna get
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. I
where,
think that we came from a time frame where people would do a very simple search where they would put something out there and they'd get a couple of listings from Google and then they'd call and they'd ask the questions.
right,
It's changing. Consumers want answers up front. They want to self-educate themselves rather than wasting time on phone calls, wasting time on 10 different websites.
Mhm.
They want to streamline it. And that's what you should be thinking about with your website and everything that you have going is how can I streamline specifically what I'm doing, but show that I'm the expert 100% in what I do. And that comes down to content because that is what's going to set you apart.
So I'm sure most people listening to this probably have some agency. I mean, if you're modern, you probably, and you're doing it themselves. How do you evaluate whether your digital marketing is good or not good? What's the ROI? Because a lot of these people just don't know what they don't know. They don't. Maybe they go to
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT and say, "Give me the three top digital agencies in my market as a
Mm-hmm.
remodeling contractor in Mountain Home, Arkansas, and pick one." How do you tell whether you're getting a good job or not a job? Because I don't think most people know.
You need to make sure that you're being given really good reporting, and not just reporting. They need to walk you through the reporting and they need to educate you on that. That said, they need to show you the plan that they're going to work off of. Like, I'll give you another, for instance, SEO is one of the biggest things, search engine or search everywhere
Right,
optimization is one of the
right,
biggest things that people are worried about. Should I even be doing it anymore because of keywords and
right.
keyword phrases? So, if you engage with an SEO agency in any way, shape, or
Mhm.
form, they should give you a very detailed plan of here's what we're going to do for the next 6 months. Here's exactly what we're going to write about. Here's the content pieces we're going to write about. Or they're going to talk about current content that's on the site. Here's how we're going to expand on that content. And here's why. Um, Here's what we're going to do on the back end of your website, the technical side of your website. You should have a roadmap from whoever you're going to work with so you can hold them to that roadmap for two reasons. One, they're going to really it's really going to help educate you on what they're doing and help you learn what's happening. But two, you're then going to start looking at reporting every single month and said, okay, we did these pieces of content 2, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. What are we seeing from it? Are we starting to see traffic? Are we starting to see things have gotten better? Are we starting to see conversions from those pages? So you should be able to see a cause and effect based on them giving you a very detailed approach with what they're going to take. And
Yeah.
I think that's some of the biggest issues that agencies quite often just say, we're the professionals, just let us do what we want to do.
Well,
And they're
I
not.
have an issue. Yeah, have an issue with that, Kenny, is that as a business owner, I don't care about statistics other than I care about them. Is it making me money or not? I mean, maybe that's a little
Sure.
oversimplified, but you can say you got 10,000 followers, you've got 50 there on this, and they give me all these numbers, and I go, but where to show me the money, right? Like I spent
Yep.
whatever, $25,000 with you. I want to see a return on my investment on
Mm-hmm.
if I spent 25,000 with you, how much am I getting back and what's a reasonable expectation? Is that fair to ask an agency?
It's a very fair thing to ask an agency. They should be able to track calls and form fills related to anything you're doing with them. So if you have very specific pages that are set up um, for ads, for ad campaigns specifically, or you have very specific things that are happening from an SEO perspective, you need to have phone numbers and you need to have form fills on those pages so those can be tracked. Then those should go straight into a CRM that you guys can keep track of that, and that should be something that you should be able to do a 1-to-1 ratio of. We know this came in from an organic lead. We know this came in from a Google paid lead. We know this came in from a social lead, and we can see exactly what the value of that ended up being.
So, what is a fair return on investment? Because I'm spending, pick a number, I don't know, 20,000, some amount with an agency.
Yep.
What could I expect in gross and net profit from that expenditure? Let's say I have a plumbing business or I have a remodeling business. What's fair ROI? How do I tell?
It kind of depends on it depends on what type of marketing you're doing. And what I mean by that is if you're doing, say, Google campaigns, Google ad campaigns, we like to say $2 for every dollar you spend. That's the minimum goal. If you're doing SEO, it may be slightly higher than that, but it will take time to get there. So a lot of what you want to do is you want to look at what the value of a job is. You want to look at the number of leads you need to have come in to actually reach a number you want to be at. So if you're going to spend $20,000, how many leads do you need to get to so you can make 40 or 50,000 on that 20,000? And there's a good little calculation that you can use for that. You can do it through Google. You can also do it through Meta, just to give you a feel for every 10 calls, we seem to close one. For every 15 calls, we seem to close one, whatever it may be. And then you should be able to back into that number to determine what expectations are and really what you should be spending.
It also includes on your margin. For example, if you're doing remodeling, maybe your gross margin is 40% and your net's 15. If you're doing roofing, maybe your gross margin is 40% and you're netting 20. But to me, it all comes down to net profit, right? I mean,
Yep.
I spent $20,000 on you, unless I can net at least $20,000 when of the money I spend with you, then it doesn't make any sense.
100% agree. 100% agree. You should be able to do that. There are other things that you can do to make that marketing overall more profitable for you. There's a term called first-party data. Are you familiar with that term,
No.
first-party
So
data?
what's that mean?
So if you're that plumber and you're doing anything to market to people, whether it's Yelp, whether it's Google Ads, whatever the heck it may be, SEO, if people call you and I say, hey, this is Kenny Stalker, here's my phone number, please call me back, I'm having a plumbing issue. I've given you my name, I've given you my phone number, that's first party data. If you're a contractor where you may get more form fills than you get phone calls because it's not an emergency, as soon as I fill out that form and send it to you, that's first party data. On average, the average website sees conversions from all the traffic that comes to its website of only between 5 and 7%. So that means you're losing somewhere between 93 and 95% of all the people that come to your website who don't convert right then. Doesn't mean they aren't going to come back later. They may just be collecting information and determining who you are and looking at reviews and so on and so forth. But there's something that you can do now called Prospect Hub. This is one of the other things that makes our agency, I think, pretty unique. It allows us to capture first-party data for you. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure everyone's seen, you go to websites right now and you get a little thing at the bottom and said, hey,
right.
Are you okay with cookies? Yes. Are you okay with cookies? Do you want to change what we can do? We can put something on your site that really delves into that says, hey, we're going to collect data on you and we're going to market to you. And for all the people that come to your website, we can collect at least an email address. And I don't care whether they're coming in direct, whether they're coming in organically, whether they're coming in from campaigns. We can resolve, is what we call it. We can resolve at least an email for between 10 and 30% of all the people that come to your website. And then you can do two things with that. The best thing you can do is internally, if you have a good CRM in place, you set up an automated email campaign that as those are coming in and that information is being resolved, you immediately email out to them. So if you're talking about that plumber has somebody that says, I'm having an issue with my kitchen sink, or I'm having an issue with my toilet, whatever page they're on, you can immediately put them in a campaign that starts hitting them based on that information. So the more that you can collect your own data, the more that you will have that in your system, and you continue to reach out to people. And maybe it's not right then. Maybe you don't get them right then, or maybe they take care of whatever it is, but you've then got them in your database and you can reach out to them for numerous things. You can also plug that data back into Google campaigns and back into social campaigns to make them perform much better. So, and the reason I'm bringing that up is you're going to get a lot of folks that are going to come to the website and not do anything. You might as well try to collect as much information from them as possible to use on your own.
Right. So, Kenny, you obviously know this area really well. If I'm a contractor and I'm wondering whether I'm spending my money with the right agency or not, or I should be spending more, can they come to you and ask those kind of questions? You get some decent answers?
Sure. We're available to do an assessment at any point, and we'll also do bits and pieces. So if you work with some partners that you really like, and you have one partner that's not doing well, we can be a stopgap just for appetizer platter just for that one thing that you may need help with. Or
Okay, so
go ahead.
how do
Sorry.
people get in touch with you, Kenny?
It's probably best to reach me at my email, which is Kenny, Kenny .stocker, STOCKER, at V as in victory, vdigitalservices.com. I'm willing to give out a phone number as well if people are more interested
Good.
in that.
That's fine. They can't hurt, right?
Sure. Yeah. I'm in the Chicago area. My phone number is 206-271-9327.
And they will get you. So, and they can also, I'm sure, go to your website or someplace and make an appointment with you there
Sure.
at
Definitely
Z
can.
Digital Services. Okay, V Digital Services.
vdigitalservices.com. Exactly.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks,
Okay.
Kenny. I appreciate being here. And this market is changing so fast that I think, expertise is important because if you don't have it, I think you're going to be sort of out of luck in the next 5 years. That's just my opinion. So anyway,
Well,
I
who
give
knows? It'll change so much in the next 5 years. We'll be looking at something completely new at that point.
completely
That's what's
different.
crazy
That's
about it.
true.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny, I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. You have a great week.